consumption net.
Well, we're looking at the electricity sector up next, or will I say energy? Some people say power sector, but you have to be very careful when you say power, especially when you're just, it's the day after Democracy Day. Well, joining us right now to discuss this, we have Dr. Mustafa Abdullahi, who is the Director General of the Energy Commission of Nigeria. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I hope you let our viewers the pleasure of seeing your eyes so that when they see you outside, they can identify you.
There you go.
Yeah. But I don't like lights, so I prefer to just put glasses if you don't mind, because of the light.
Okay.
So you want me to keep it down?
Maybe he's dealing with a glare or something.
No, the lighting, I prefer to put glasses on.
Okay.
Dark shade, yeah.
All right. Well, so this
unless if you want me to.
Yes, I think it would be better for Nigerians to see your eyes while you give us this conversation, while we have this conversation with you. This is what we're celebrating, marking a day after democracy. You know, some people will say, where are we with regards to our electricity? A lot of Nigerians will still tell you. I think part of the protests that were held yesterday in different parts of the country, some of them touched on electricity, energy being a major headache for businesses. It's difficult for them to thrive as a result of a rising cost of energy where it is available, and in many cases it is hardly available. What exactly is the Energy Commission of Nigeria doing about it?
Thank you very much. Let me just begin by just giving us a synopsis of what Energy Commission means. A lot of people will be surprised, why Energy Commission, you know, not power, not oil and gas. Now, the Energy Commission is the only agency of the government saddled responsibility of coordination and also strategic planning of energy in all ramifications. And by energy, you know, the basic, words is oil and gas and power. And now back to the question, which is the key, because we're in democracy, people need to know where are we. But for us to know where we are, we must know where we're coming from. I'll say, Mr. President, in fact, I'll give him a pass mark. Now, if you look post before he come to, before he actually won the election in 2023, the Nigerian government Nigerian only generates about 4,000 megawatts of electricity. 4,000 megawatts. That is for over 200 million Nigerians. Now, presently, Nigeria can boast itself that it generates 6,000 megawatts of electricity. 2,000 within just 2 years. We are not where we ought to be. We are not where we want to be, but definitely we are somewhere good, in a very, very strategic position.
You know, I would hate to interrupt you, but when you say that Nigeria is currently generating, are you saying that we have 6,000 megawatts on the grid as we currently speak?
Yes. The generation capacity we have in Nigeria is about 14,000, but what we are able to transmit is about 7,000, 8,000, but what we distribute in the country is 6,000. Presently,
because
yes.
We've heard the same figure from the former Minister of Power, Mr. Babasinde Fashola, when he was there, talking about how at least we could accommodate as much as 7,500 megawatts on the grid.
Yes, we could even do more, because the installed capacity, like I said, is about 14,000. But recall that, electricity also have, the plant has what they call the feedstock. You need gas. And, the turbines need hydro, water to drive. So availability and also the price of this gas also affect the private sector that generates this electricity. But what we should be talking about is where we are right now as a country. The first thing to note is that the first generation of electricity for this country started in 1896 or thereabout. That's about 129, years ago. And if for 127 years, we are only able to generate 4,000 megawatts, then this man came to power and has given us 2,000 megawatts extra to that 4,000. And that is to say that hopefully he may even double it before he leaves, maybe before the first tenure completes. Then if you allow him to consolidate on it, maybe give him another 4 years, we are sure of even tripling this electricity. So,
I mean, Dr. Abdullahi, I want to be able to get your thoughts, because this is your sector, isn't it?
Yes.
And you're just giving us a background as to where we're coming from. The 1800s. Where should we be?
You see, I don't think any country has reached where it should be, but I'll tell you where we should be.
Yes.
For us to have, for every household to have access to affordable, not just access to electricity, affordable electricity, Nigeria must generate 40,000 megawatts.
We should be able to have 40,000?
We should be able to have 40,000 megawatts. Okay. And we are going to.
What's stopping us from getting that?
Planning.
By who?
Because now we are planning. We don't have any strategic planning before this administration. It will interest you to note, because every country that have also gotten it right in terms of power actually have good energy planning. So
when you say planning, what do you mean?
Policies.
Okay.
Just when I came to, because that is really our core mandate in Energy Commission. Energy Commission has been existing since 1989. But, you know, prior to 2023 administration, this administration, we don't have any gazetted national energy policy or even a master plan. And there's no investor that will come into the country to invest in energy if they don't see a clear vision what really the administration wants to achieve in the area of energy. So what we have done is to give the country a document called National Energy Master Plan and also a policy. And for that, we've seen an increased investment.
What is the master plan?
The master plan gives you the roadmap. How many renewables do you want to be? And I'll tell you some.
Yes.
That is what the president was. There is a snip of it where the last energy summit he went to. He talked about 30% into the energy mix. We want to use renewables 30% in our energy mix, not concentrating on our gas. Despite the fact that we are number 7 in terms of gas reserve in the world. We have over 204 trillion cubic feet. We are still where we are. It means there must be a paradigm shift. So that is why, Mr. President, I've decided in our vision, if you look at the master plan, we're looking towards the renewable right now. And I can tell you it's practical because already we have 148 already installed solar PV system in the country. And we're doing 5 megawatts in each state right now as we speak. Okay. By the time we finish, we'll be looking at 100 of, megawatts into our grid. And that is the way forward. I need to be able
to get your thoughts on the banding system.
Yes.
Because that is one of the biggest problems that we're facing in this country.
Yes.
And some people understand it. If you're consuming more, you should pay more. Now, with the banding system came the rules at the times. But what we've seen, with all due respect, is that even though this banding system gives you the times you're supposed to have power or not, it doesn't work that way. You have people paying premium for electricity that they do not get. We have disappointing situations where citizens come together to buy electricity infrastructure, and then they have issues with the disco after doing that. We have communities that have been without light for months because of one transformer, wire issue, or the other. And these things continue while the banding system continues, and we keep paying for electricity that we are not getting. Is that something that concerns the Energy Commission?
Well, it concerns every Nigerian, because I'm also a Nigerian. So, but I will tell you just a few things and the concerns and where we are and why that banding system actually exists. Now, it is important we all know that the electricity, is very, very regulated, the electricity sector in the country. And the Nigerian government do not generate this electricity. The only thing we do within that value chain is just to transmit. We don't even distribute. So what is happening is that if you look at our energy mix, it is highly the input, that's the feedstock that go into those plants is gas. 86% of the energy mix is gas. So if you look at that, gas, is a global commodity. And you know that the prices fluctuate. It is not cheap. Electricity is not cheap. In fact, you look at the UK, look at even other African countries now. So we have just, about 6,000 megawatts. And people are complaining that, it's too expensive. What if investment trooping and we're doing the 40,000 megawatts? Are we sure that these people are going to pay? And that is why the regulation, we're trying to deregulate the sector so that we can get investors in. Because the investors do not have the confidence that this regulation will continue, just like what we've seen in the oil and gas space. So deregulate the sector, let them come and let them make their money. Let's, be competition in the sector. And that is what is happening. 206 or 207 naira per kilowatt per day. I mean, that is the lowest I've seen in the world. You can
These things wouldn't matter if their power was available. The issue is that people are paying for power that they're not getting. Not that it's expensive. Yes, it is expensive. There's that part of the conversation. But that's not a problem. If I'm paying and I'm getting it, it's not a problem. But the problem is I'm paying and I'm not getting it.
But if it will surprise me if somebody says, that's why everybody should join the metering system. The government has a meter system. And these things are digitized. If you have a unit, I have a unit. And you see, for me, I think the main issue is not even generation, it's efficiency. You know, the 6,000 we have, are we even using it efficiently? Are we conserving it to send to other places or hard to reach areas? That is the question we should be asking. So if it's that expensive, then, you know, use your light, conserve your energy, you know, save some, off your ACs, you know, don't heat because it's very, very warm, you know. And so there are so many ways you could actually manage your electricity. This little we have.
Did you say 207 naira?
Oh yeah, thereabouts.
It's 225 naira.
225, okay.
225 naira is pretty pricey.
I think it came down a bit.
No, it hasn't come down.
Okay, 225. But
225 naira per kilowatt hour is expensive.
I wouldn't say it's expensive.
It's nearly.
It is still regulated as it is.
It is more than $1 per kilowatt hour.
But it is still regulated.
And then it's not constant electricity. That's the issue.
It is not more than $1. It is not more than $1. $1 is about 1,600. So that's less than, in fact.
I do know that this conversation on electricity will certainly go on, what the appropriate pricing of it should be relative to what Nigerians have the capacity to earn. Because I think that's where the debate is. What is the average Nigerian earning, and what are we charging as electricity? What are we charging as fuel? You know, these are all the complexities.
I mean, it is not expensive, but the problem is the poverty rate. So, and that is really not within the energy sector. Okay. The energy price is what it is.
Well, it cannot operate in isolation, can it? It cannot operate.
So
we'll see how that eventually pans out. I know that this is an ongoing conversation, and it's something that we certainly will continue to involve you in, but we have to thank you for speaking with us a day after Democracy Day, Dr. Mustapha Abdullahi.
Thank you so much. And I hope Nigerians actually understand that, you know, where we're coming from and where we are now. Like I said, 2,000 megawatts is not a joke. So kudos to Mr. President.
Well, he's the DG Energy Commission of Nigeria.